Brad.
Well, thank you, Chair. And so I just, I wanted to follow on from the line of questioning that Matthew McFarland over there was going with, because there's something that I just wanted to set straight. So now you said that the compensation packages for the executive leadership team, including the relocation costs, are things that were all set through the proper processes, the proper committees, the board signed off of them. This is part of a contract that's offered. This is part of how you actually recruit people in a very competitive environment within Canada with experience that's required to run our healthcare system. But yet, he seems to be singling out you to return some of these relocation fees, while at the same time inviting the former Dr. Gardam to go to his fundraising dinner, who has been shown by the Auditor General to have not followed practices, saying, hey, it was COVID. I had to pay people more. And in fact, the Auditor General said that could be fraud. It's been referred to the Deputy Attorney General to look into. So here we have,
Brad.
him speaking out of both sides of the mouth. So my question to you is, with this level of political games being played with people who are apolitical, who are doing their job, hired by Health PEI, not the ones setting the policy, not the ones to go after. When he goes after you personally like this and other executive leadership, what does that do for our ability to recruit and retain, and what does that do to the motivation levels of your executive leadership team?
I'm going to jump in there just for a second. We do need to be reminded of respectful language in the House. And just in case you didn't know, you can't say speaking out of both sides of your mouth. So I also am hoping that you're able to tie that in, and I will once again turn it over to our guest to determine whether this is something she wants to answer or something she doesn't.
So I will answer it, because I want to say this. Michael Gardam is the former CEO. He had a contract with the Health Authority to deliver work. I have nothing to say about his performance or anything about him. He was a professional hired by a former board to deliver a job, and this should never be cast as something between two CEOs where nothing of the nature exists. And I actually had two lovely transition conversations with Michael Gardam when I arrived to get his input as I was taking over the Health Authority. I am concerned about the level of targeting and politics that have been brought to what are professional public servants and executives. I did have an executive resign, and I have executives who've been hired who want to come back to PEI, who are saying, why am I even thinking about this? So I would say that it is important for us to remain apolitical. And for the discourse in this room to hold government accountable for government decisions, and to hold us as the Health Authority accountable for the delivery of those decisions within the scope of our role. But I mean, just for the sake of the island and for the healthcare system, I mean, the disparaging remarks, the harassment, it does nothing good for anybody. And I think, we had a code silver a couple weeks ago. I think folks are familiar with that. We also had a nurse punched in the face at PCH. We have, our patient navigators and our patient relations folks harassed online, like verbally threatened. Some of us have personal safety plans now because of online mobbing and targeting. None of that makes a better healthcare system. And I would just say, it's all of our responsibility to make sure that we have an environment that's free of harassment, where people can speak transparently, where we rely on the facts. And what I say to my team every day, and is on our charter, which is to keep our patient at the center of every decision and discussion that we have. We need to balance everybody's input. We need to listen, but we're here to deliver health care for patients, and so that will be my focus, and I hope that's what you will hold me and my executive accountable for.
Brad, do you have another question?